And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the legend himself. The leader of the club that's great for you and... Wait, nope, sorry, wrong one. I meant the mascot of not only Looney Tunes, but also the icon of Warner Brothers. There are very few, maybe no other cartoon character in this world that would be up in the levels of Mickey Mouse in terms of popularity and longevity. Is he the first ever Looney Tunes character? No. Is he the most Oscar-winning character? Not even. It's not about who came first or how many trophies he got that made him an icon. It is his sharp wit, cunning personality, and an admirable attitude, the reason why audiences keep on loving him throughout the decades. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Bugs Bunny. As Bugs said it best himself, he's just a rabbit in a human world. All he wants to do is just relax and live his own life, but often can get interrupted by hunters, angry cowboys, Martians, predators, jealous rivals, and many more. So, in order to get himself out of a sticky situation, or in order to survive, he has to rely on his wits to outsmart his opponents. However, there have been the very rare occasions that he didn't win, like with a turtle, a gremlin, and unofficially, a nerd.
What's up, there?
Now, Bugs didn't immediately begin as the rabbit we all know and love. He had to gradually come out of his rabbit shell. In 1938, Ben Hardaway and Cal Dalton created a cartoon called Porky's Hare Hunt, where it follows a very similar pattern to Porky's Duck Hunt from the year before, but instead of hunting a crazy duck, Porky was against a loony rabbit. Another time when they used a similar character was in the year after with Chuck Jones' Presto Changeo, where a magician's pet rabbit has to outsmart two dogs. During the same year, both Hardaway and Dalton would make another bunny cartoon with 1939's Harum Scarum. This time, however, the rabbit was given a brand new design by animator Charlie Thorsten, who previously had experience on working with cartoon rabbits in Disney's The Tortoise and the Hare cartoons. On the model sheet of the character, it would be the first time that he would be given his name, taken from Hardaway's nickname, Bugs. However, since this was before the character we know, many would dub this rabbit by another suggested name from the making of the tune, Happy Rabbit. The only other time Happy would appear was in early 1940, where the rabbit first met Elmer Fudd in Elmer's Candid Camera. But then came July 27th, 1940, the day when Bugs officially made his debut with a wild hare. In this one, Bugs was given a more rabbit-like design that looked closer to what Disney did with Max Hare. As for the voice, Mel Blanc gave the rabbit a mixed accent of both Brooklyn and the Bronx, while Tex Avery gave him a common Texas expression as his first line that would become his most beloved catchphrase.
What's up, Doc?
The cartoon ended up being such a huge success that it ended up being nominated for an Oscar, and the guys at Termite Terrace knew that they had found their next big star. One that could even outshine both Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. Immediately afterwards, his name would officially be Bugs Bunny right at the start of Chuck Jones' 1941 tune, Elmer's Pet Rabbit. However, since it was in production before A Wild Hare, the crew was still experimenting with what they could do with the rabbit, like give him a Jimmy Stewart impression.
Listen, Bub, be a little more careful who you call a widow gray rabbit. See?
Yeah, it's a safe bet to say that it's better to just stick with the Wild Hare version. Soon afterwards, Bugs would get another Oscar nomination with 1941's Hiawatha's Rabbit Run, and in 1942 with Bob Clampett's Bugs Bunny Gets the Boyd, Bugs would get a slight redesign from Bob McKimson that would be the pure template for the other directors to make their own variation of Bugs. It wouldn't be until World War II came in when Bugs had a huge job to do with the army that would boost his popularity to new heights. Along with other characters at the time, Bugs would appear in many cartoons of the era in order to lift up the spirits of audiences and remind them to support their troops by facing off with Hitler, Mussolini, the Japanese, and Goring. which the latter in the 1945 cartoon, Hair Meets Hair, it would be the first time that Bugs would enter that magical portal that could take you anywhere in the world, the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Say, you know, I knew I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque.
After the cartoon Super Rabbit in 1943, Bugs would serve as the official mascot of the Kingman Army Airfield and the 530 Squadron of the 380th Bombardment Group for the U.S. Air Force, and was made an honorary Marine Master Sergeant by the United States Marine Corps. There were even two moments with 1945's Hair Tonic and 1946 Baseball Bugs that he would replace Porky at the end to do the outro out of the drum.
And that's the end.
After the war, Bugs would go on to appear in a total of 167 cartoons, more than any other Looney Tunes character, with 1964's False Hair being his final tune in the golden era. It is worth noting, however, that during that time, Bugs finally won his only Oscar with 1958's Nighty Night Bugs. When the cartoons were over, the only thing that was keeping the spirit of Bugs alive was the 1960 TV series The Bugs Bunny Show, which presented all the Looney Tunes cartoons from 1948 to 1969 and ran for a total of 40 years. When the 70s and 80s rolled along, Bugs would get a chance to return in many TV specials and even compilations movies showing his best cartoons, including the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie, the Looney Bugs Bunny movie, and Bugs Bunny's third movie, 1001 Rabbit Tales. In 1988, when Disney wanted to bring in the Looney Tunes into Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Warner Brothers only agreed if their characters would get as much screen time as Disney's characters, which is why you would get the famous scene with Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny together at the same time.
Ah, no!
Aw, poor fella. Yeah, ain't I a stinker?
Once the 90s rolled along, Bugs would go make many cameos in many of the WB's animated series, star in numerous video games, and even have a couple of spiritual successor characters like Buster Bunny in Tiny Toons Adventures and Ace Bunny in Lunatics Unleashed. At the same time, he would also be making a comeback on the big screen with some shorts, with Box Office Bunny, Blooper Bunny, and Invasion of the Bunny Snatchers, and a couple of movies as well with Space Jam, where they introduced a new girlfriend for Bugs with Lola Bunny, and Looney Tunes Back in Action. Once the 2010s rolled along, Bugs would return back onto television starring in his own TV shows like The Looney Tunes Show and Wabbit, a Looney Tunes production, and would have his own direct-to-DVD film, Looney Tunes Rabbit's Run. Throughout the decades after Mel Blanc, Bugs would get his voice done by many talented voice artists, including Joe Alasky, Billy West, Greg Burson, and most notably, Jeff Bergman. As for the legacy that he has left, it certainly did not go unrewarded. According to Guinness World Records, Bugs Bunny would be in more films than any cartoon character ever, and he is listed as the 9th most portrayed character in film, right under Santa, the Grim Reaper, Jesus, Hitler, the Devil, and even God himself. On December 10th, 1985, Bugs became the second animated character behind Mickey Mouse to be given his own Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 1997, he was the first ever cartoon character to appear in a US postage stamp, and it was put at number 7 in the 10 most popular US stamps. In the book The 50 Greatest Cartoons, 5 of Bugs' tunes would be featured on the list, including number 39's Little Red Riding Rabbit, number 35's Alibaba Bunny, number 30's Rabbit Seasoning, number 12's Rabbit of Seville, and the number 1 greatest cartoon, What's Opera Doc, which that one was also put into the National Film Registry by the United States Library of Congress in 1992. But then in 2002, TV Guide would place Bugs as the number 1 greatest cartoon character as part of the magazine's 50th anniversary. Their reason for him to be the best is that his stock has never gone down. Bugs is the best example of the smart aleck American comic. He not only is a great cartoon character, he's a great comedian. He was written well, he was drawn beautifully, he has thrilled and made many generations laugh. He is tops, and there's no denying that he is among the best of the best in cartoons. As the animators and directors said it best about him, Bugs is pretty much who everybody wants to be. And I don't mean with all the fame and the huge legacy, I mean just be the smart aleck guy who can get out of any troublesome situation. But then again, he's just a cartoon rabbit, right?
He don't know me very well, do he?
See ya, see you later, dudes!